Okay, Charge Way podcast. We are back. I'm your host, Ed. I'm joined by my co-host, Ash. Ash, how are you today?
I'm very good, Ed. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. I'm excited to go through this new cycle with the crew. It's a cycle that sort of intersects the CrossFit Open. And fair to say, there was a fair bit of excitement amongst the whole coaching group as we reviewed this cycle as a team a few weeks ago, Ash.
Yeah, it's a really nice looking cycle, and I think everyone knows that we're going to get some great results out of this. And yeah, we get to touch on a whole bunch of really cool exercises, which are all programmed for a reason, and that is to make charges stronger and fitter, more capable.
I love it. Well, let's get stuck in. We're starting this cycle with a split jerk piece. As we record this, actually, the charges have done it this morning and it went exceptionally well. So split jerk, we're doing a 6RM, a 4RM, and a 2RM, and then we'll revisit each of those rep schemes. So you'll see this a fair bit. Important to note that we're going to be alternating the legs that you use to split jerk with, or alternating which leg goes forward and back. Split jerk is an incredibly athletic movement. You can move a really good chunk of weight. It requires huge amounts of strength and coordination. And when you add the unilateral component of the one leg forward, one leg back, it really adds some nice balance demands as well. We feel really strongly that it's a movement that needs to be practiced on both sides because it adds this balance to the way you move, and also again, like it really enhances the coordination, and it's a nice piece of variance. And just watching people do it over the years at Charge, when they do both legs on the split jerk, they actually become more confident at the already dominant leg because they just understand the mechanics of the movement better. So Ash, really looking forward to progressing the split jerk throughout.
Yeah, 100%, Ed. And it would lead to a semi debate on how to train for a sport, for example. So a lot of people, when they see a split jerk as being part of a sport, which is Olympic lifting, you got the clean and the jerk. You think, look, I just need to practice exactly what's going to come up on the day of my sport. And it's like footy. If you want to just run, footy's got a lot of running in it. I'm just going to run. If you only do the activity that's in the sport, then you're actually creating weaknesses and imbalances because there's way more things that your body needs than just doing like one activity. And that's where you add health into like your programming, and you do the other side in a split jerk, or you think about actually getting your body really strong in the off season, in particular in footy. So then your body can withstand all the hits, all the turning and everything else that happens. That's why we do this.
Yeah, it's so easy to, like, that's such a good point. It's so easy to just look, okay, my final product on the platform is this, so that's all I should do. And that's actually not how weightlifters train. They do a lot of accessory movements. And yeah, it's really nice to alternate, and like I said, add to the variance of this movement.
100%. All right, so the next feature that we're going to go through is gymnastics upper body. So we're working on trying to find some really nice, hard sets of 8 reps in strict pull-ups, and also some very hard push-ups. So basically, you're going to come in and try and find the hardest behind the neck pull-up version you can do, and then the hardest push-up. And push-up wise, that starts off by pushing onto a box if you're new to push-ups, and then it can end up going way below the rings in a very wide pelican style ring push-up. And it's going to be epic because we're going to get very strong from this.
Love it. Yeah, it's sort of too simple just to think pull-ups and push-ups. Oh, well, there's only a few variations of those, but actually there's lots of different ways to make this both more accessible if you're still working on these things, and also make them incredibly hard if you've got plenty of skills. So looking forward to seeing Chargers hit that. Now, get the sense this one's going to be quite popular, bringing the deadlift back. And we're going to be working 8RM at the start and building all the way down to a 2RM. So lifting some or pulling some heavy weight off the floor. As always, when we deadlift, we're going to allow people to choose the deadlift which is right for them. And if you don't know what we mean by that, you can work with a coach. But there's a few different styles to deadlifting. So sumo deadlift or conventional deadlift will be available. There's also a few other variations that individuals might use, like a trap bar or a kettlebell deadlift. Look, the deadlift is such a great strength builder for the posterior chain, develops a lot of core strength. And we're very mindful about how we program it to make sure it complements all the other aspects of fitness that we work on. But always feels good to pull some heavy weights off the floor. So looking forward to seeing the deadlift again.
Yeah, 100%, Ed. And it was just time in the program for it to come back and people to kick some more goals with it, which has been consistently happening. Because we don't just, our pulling off the floor doesn't turn to zero if there's no deadlift program for a cycle. It's because we've got other pulling off the floor as well. So it's going to maintain that. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Look,
next. Okay.
I was just going to say we don't deadlift all the time at Charge, and we speak pretty openly about that. But what we see from a results perspective is people's deadlift continue to go up and up and up and up, and that's because it like a bit of a theme for this podcast. We don't always have to do the thing to get good at the thing. So yeah, that's why we sort of have it coming in and out, and at the moment it's in the program for the next cycle.
Yeah, and you could also definitely say that we don't do anything exactly the same way from cycle to cycle. Like, we choose different versions of squats because we want to push the crew into different ways of building strength with it. There's different gymnastics that we have in. Everything changes and goes through a cycle, and it's all on purpose to try and keep everyone progressing. And if you keep doing exactly the same thing all the time, you can get some good results at the start, but it generally stalls. Like there's a plateau building there, and that's why you need to have variation, and also not just for the body but for the mind.
Ash, take us through the next thing, sir.
The next feature is the snatch. And what we're doing is we're going to be working on a complex, which is a really fun complex of, it's 3 hang power snatch, hang snatch high pull, sorry, not power snatch, plus 2 hang squat snatches. So it's a 3 plus a 2, so it's a 5 rep complex. And the whole point is like, let's get some really good strength in vertical pull-in, jumping up, using our legs, and then we get to focus on rearranging our body into a squat and just like really building up our squat snatches. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I love it. The sort of the leg strength piece, and obviously there's already been some legs in this program for it, but the squatting pattern that we'll be working on in this program is the front squat. So we've been working really hard on the back squat, and we've been doing some variations of that to build some, I guess you could call it absolute strength. And now it's time to strengthen this position, which in CrossFit, this is such an important position because, I mean, it's important for other reasons, but it translates so well to so many other movements, barbell movements in the front rack, wall balls, cleans, you name it. But also it's a great way just to strengthen and extend that thoracic spine. So we'll be lifting some heavy weights over the course of the program in the front squat.
100% front squat. It's a great version of a squat. Okay, so next, we got split jerks, but we're also working on our overhead strength through handstands in this program too. And we're going to be utilizing some really cool little tips and tricks from gymnastics where we're going to hopefully build more freestanding handstands from people and just more balance, more connection. And be excited when you rock up to this class, team. I'm not going to give you any more details.
Yeah, okay. If you're not going to give details, then I won't. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this cycle with everything that we've been through as a team, and that Ash, you've obviously taken the team through. So it's going to be very exciting. Now we've also got a core program, and super excited to be working into the GHD sit up into our core strength in this cycle. It's obviously a variation of, as many of you, if not all of you know, there's a GHD that we do use at times, but we've found a way to bring this exercise back, which we've done it something similar before. So we'll be working on the GHD sit-up or a sit-up of some variation, and then flipping that over and working on some back extension pieces as well. As you know, in CrossFit, we train the core in lots of different ways through functional movements, but it's really nice to isolate the core. So we'll be doing that at times throughout the program.
Yeah, it carries across to everything. Going to be really valuable. And obviously, everyone, like on top of this, we have some really, really well thought out warm-ups, which is going to help us build all the attributes we want out of all the strength pieces. And then we've got heaps of great Metcons coming your way. And
yeah. And go on, Ash.
Well, the Metcon names are all song names, mainly like 80s, 90s, and 2000s songs. Yeah, just really popular songs that are going to get stuck in your head whilst you're doing the Metcons. Well, they were stuck in my head.
That's just what you need when you're doing 21-15-9 front squat and handstand push up. The return of the Mac today. Actually, I shared with everyone at the 7 a.m. class. I said, "Return of the Mac" was written by Mark Morrison, and my dad's name is Mark Morrison. So he always used to go around sort of singing this as a joke, like as he thought it was funny, and it was just like it was quite traumatic as a child to listen to that. Hey, just lastly on the program at the moment. So CrossFit Open starts from the time I'm recording this and posting this. It'll start in a few days. It's always interesting, the CrossFit Open. We do watch people in their training sometimes get a little bit absorbed by the Open, and we get it. We want you to be absorbed by it because it's lots of fun. But make no mistake, don't be so sucked into the Open that your training falls off the bandwagon. We will be programming on Friday some movements that could be done or adjusted so that if you're doing the Open on Saturday, you'd still be fresh. And also, if you do the Open on Saturday, you'll hit some serious intensity, but be ready to get back into training either, the next day, we have the Sunday sessions, or on Monday, because, you just don't want to sort of, put the cart before the horse and just put all your eggs in one basket. And I'm not too sure if I can come up with any more analogies, but, just you don't want to get too focused on the Open, I suppose.
Yeah, and I guess it does obviously depend on what your goals are. Like, say, for example, if you're really wanting to take Saturday's Open workout as serious as you can, I mean, maybe you come in on Friday and just do some mobility work. Like you wouldn't want to risk the fact that you could be a bit fatigued the next day, and maybe Thursday you just don't go as hard as you normally would. But we obviously wouldn't want you to do this all the time because, it's going to affect your overall fitness. But if that Saturday meant that much to you, then you come in with just a different mindset on a couple of the days. And that should really go well for you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And speak to any of the coaches, folks, if you have any questions about what the Open should mean for you and how you should approach it. But looking forward to an exciting Open season and an exciting cycle. I think that might do us.
Thanks, team.
Thanks, team. Chargeway Podcast out.